So as you can see, I'm here at home in quarantine and I only have 1 day left before I'm allowed out. Thankfully, I got back into the country before they started putting people into quarantine in hotels. Kate is still driving all around Melbourne to go to inspections, and some of the other girls are working in the home or in the office or at home. So today I wanted to talk about what's happening on the ground right now from a supply and demand perspective, and how the government's restrictions on real estate have changed the way that we are buying properties. So it's fair to say in the last week, we've received more calls and emails from agents selling off-market properties than we have ever seen. So my phone has been ringing off the hook and our off-market spreadsheet is growing by the minute. Right now we have a heightened level of supply, with properties that were scheduled to be sold in the coming month or so all being brought forward and condensed into a much shorter period of time. One of the driving reasons behind this is an uncertainty around lockdown measures, and both agents and vendors are worried that the next stage of lockdown might impose further movement restrictions and buyers won't be able to physically inspect properties. Some countries have classified real estate as an essential service, and even in higher levels of lockdown still allow inspections, whilst others haven't. And as far as we've come with embracing technology through videos and virtual 3D floor plans, most buyers still want to be able to walk through a property, and it's certainly our recommendation for a buyer, or at least someone they trust, to do a physical inspection. So in the property market, there's always a lag effect with transactions, because when a vendor purchases a new property to move into, they'll often use this settlement time frame to try and sell their own home. For this reason, or perhaps other personal reasons, we currently have a large portion of vendors who have to sell. It's these vendors who are frantically trying to get their buyers through their property in fear of a further lockdown. They might be bringing their sale forward to give them some more breathing space, and in some cases they would consider a significant discount on price to avoid not being able to settle on their new property. Alongside these vendors, we also have those who don't urgently need to sell, but we're planning to do so in the next month or so. These vendors are testing the waters at the moment with an off-market sale, which gives them an opportunity for a sale with more certainty and less marketing costs. And of course, we will see vendors who do panic sell in the face of looming macroeconomic uncertainty, even though it is still very early days in terms of understanding how this crisis will affect our economy and the property market. So now is a time when vendors are particularly valuing certainty around offers too. We've had 2 negotiations in the last few days where the vendor has accepted significantly lower prices because of the terms were better. One vendor accepted 60 grand less because the offer was unconditional, and the other vendor accepted an offer which was $46,000 less because the offer was subject to a building inspection and his tenants were in quarantine, which meant the builder couldn't see through for another 10 days. His fear of further lockdown meant he preferred to take the unconditional offer despite it being significantly lower. On the flip side, we're also seeing some vendors withdraw their property from market because they don't feel like the timing is right for them. So right now, we're seeing a glut of supply and a lot of opportunities for buyers. I know people get excited at the prospect of a bargain, and there certainly are some out there, or at least opportunities to purchase a property with less competition due to the saturation. But for now, we still have a hive of buyer activity too. We've had a number of clients choose to pause their search and resume when there is some more market certainty, and some who need to understand their employment outlook before they can commit to a purchase. But over the last week, we've been particularly busy, purchasing 9 properties for our clients in the last week. Some of these have been for clients who have been searching for a little while now, and we're starting to get priced out of the market due to the significant growth we've had in Melbourne since the middle of last year. These buyers have all made the decision to purchase based on having a high comfort level around their job security and cash flows, and chose to harness the opportunity of all of a sudden having much more choice and less competition. There are also buyers currently in the market who want to buy now because they've sold, or perhaps they have another personal reason like an upcoming addition to the family or getting into a certain school zone. For certain buyers, trying to time the market isn't their driving motivation. They want to buy a property because it's the right time for them. For now, the real estate market is fully open for business. Instead of open for inspections, agents are taking buyers through privately. And of course, this is a lot more time consuming from their end, but it also means that agents' energy is focused on buyers who are actively wanting to buy, rather than people having a wander through at an open on a Saturday just for a sticky beak. And of course, with public auctions no longer allowed, agents have either converted their sales to a private sale. One thing I want to point out here is that there have been some issues with data reporting. For anyone who saw the big discrepancy between Domain and realestate.com.au clearance rates recently, this is because of that sudden change from auction campaigns to private sales, and it wasn't captured accurately. We're also buying a lot of properties via online auction platforms, which so far we've had some good experience in, and we like that it's a transparent process too. So in summary, at this point in time, we have high supply and high transaction levels. In fact, 2 large inner north agencies have recorded their biggest month of sales in the last few years. And this is because we're seeing existing demand being rapidly absorbed by the active buyers in the market. And one of the reasons behind this is that fear of further movement restrictions. This supply will fall once the existing stock has either been sold or possibly withdrawn, but we'll also see a drop in the demand once all of the current active buyers have purchased and the new buyers decide whether they want to enter the market or just sit tight and see what happens. How much these ratios change will determine how insulated the market will be from price changes. So we can't say anything with certainty right now, except for those people who do have job security, buffers and contingency plans. This is a time where buyers are a bit spoilt for choice, and what they might not have been able to afford recently might now be within reach.